Aloha, welcome to a new Comic Crusaders podcast. I'm your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. And today we have a super special podcast. We're talking to an incredible person. But let me first show my co-pilot off, the one and only Comic Pimp, Blind Adam. What's up, Adam? How you doing?
Hey, how y'all doing? I'm ready for an awesome sauce episode and a very awesome sauce guest.
Yep.
So take it away, sir.
So let's talk about awesome sauce. Folks, today we have Mr. Big Time himself, the Duke of Decency, the Lord of Literacy, Sir Money in the Bank, the Sultan of Showmanship, the one and only Aron Stevens. Woo!
Thank you for that introduction. I tell you what, if I ever kind of go back to wrestling, I would like you to do all my intros from now on.
Let's do it. Al Mega ready for that. Aron, welcome to the Comic Crusaders podcast. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us and chit-chat about your next venture, which is coming up on February 15th, which is going to be incredible. But before we get into that, we are wrestling nerds, So I'm going to let my co-pilot, Adam, ask the first question today. Adam, I'll give you the floor for the first question today with our wonderful guest.
Well, Aron, I want to know, do you have any fun memories of the, savior of the unwashed masses gimmick?
Oh, I mean, by far my favorite character. It was just kind of like this amalgamation of different characters from the past. I took a little bit of this, a little bit of that, blended it all into my own, just my own shtick, as we say. And I don't like that word, but, as entertainers, I'm a firm believer that everyone does have a shtick to some degree or another. And, it was just something that was magical, I thought, because it was such a throwback to the past, where at the time when I was doing it, wrestling was like, we're going to concentrate on being real, which in my opinion, if you want real fighting, go to the UFC. Yeah. We have to have people, we have to be real enough to, suspend the disbelief of everyone in the arena, yet theatrical enough to make them forget about the real world and lose themselves in these characters. So it's such a fine line. And I think that character was just really, really good and effective at getting people to do that. Again, there was like the eccentricities with the pink tights and the cartwheel. And then yet I would, speak the $5 words, as they say. And then, then snap and turn into Hannibal Lecter. And it was just such a spectrum that I don't feel was ever fully explored as much as it could have been in WWE. But stay tuned for NWA because, as we know, I'm kind of associated with NWA now. And I really believe that you're going to see my interpretation of where that character would have gone, So this is not... Again, it's not like I'm going to be doing the intellectual savior because that's intellectual property of other people, but this is what I couldn't have done, and it's we're going to have a lot of fun with it.
Can I ask then? Is that something that's common with all the characters that you've created in the past, where it became an intellectual property and you got to keep coming up with new material?
Yeah, in terms of, again, the WWE. Absolutely. But I kind of have always been character fluid, as I say, where so many wrestlers, they're married to one character, right?
Okay.
I'm kind of known as the guy that can, I can be Aron Stevens, Damian Sandow, whatever the name is, but I can morph into different personalities. I started as an intellectual savior. I ended up as like the stunt double and then ended up dressed as Randy Savage. And I was never taken on TV and repackaged. Like a lot of guys, they would do this character. They go away for 6 months and they, tons of money is invested in them. They produce these vignettes, they do all this stuff, and then they repackage them. And it's like, with my character evolution, it was always linear. And I never, ever, number one, they never invested money in any vignettes for me. They stuck me in a briefcase to start. But like, number two, they never took me off TV. It was just this natural progression. And I thought that was always cool. And I was always proud of that. And then like, even in my Impact career, there was it was funny. There was an article written, and I don't pay attention to this stuff usually, but a buddy of mine brought it up to me and he was like, "Oh, look what they said about you." And it was kind of negative. It was from What Culture, which I was a little surprised at. I've always kind of dug those guys, but
no, really.
I guess it's their interpretation of what happened. But truly, when I was doing the Mr. Showmanship gimmick in Impact, which was again, I drew from Liberace from that. But the character was going to evolve. Like, it wasn't, the initial presentation was Liberace, but I had so much, kind of like vision, or I had the vision of where I wanted it to go and what the character was going to be. And it never truly got the opportunity to get off the ground. And that's a twofold thing. That was a period where I had kind of had enough about wrestling. Like I just, I had such a negative experience, my last 6 months or so in WWE. And then with Impact, there was a whole thing with the administration change. And I was happy at Impact for a hot minute. But then, the more the politics, not so much with me, but like with the office and people fighting. I just said, you know what, I'm done. I truly wasn't, I feel, giving 100%. And to me, a paycheck is nice, but I am not going to put myself out there or something, especially if it's in perpetuity, like to be there forever, to live forever on the internet and me be less than 100%. And that to me was like why I stepped away, because I owed it to the fans who have always been supportive of me, that I needed to give 100%. And, again, like that, it's funny. The article has its own interpretation, but and there was other people included in that article that it's like, my God, that's absolutely not what happened. And
wow.
Yeah, it's just, but again, you know what? Everyone has their take on wrestling. Wrestling's such a unique form of entertainment.
It is.
Where you have not only like your skill level, it does go into play, but then there's the backstage politics. There's whatever that really people do not know what goes on. I mean, I was just having a text conversation with a buddy of mine who was in WWE, and it really is just crazy how like nobody truly knows, like from people who call themselves wrestling journalists, and there are very good wrestling journalists out there.
Just a few.
Yeah. But no, and in the media too, it's like I could never really know what goes on to produce your show, right? I'm lucky enough to be a guest on it. But like you guys, the nuts, the bolts, the ins and outs, you have like you're just fully in it, right? So I always thought it was unfair when people try to write a sports article, like talent failed, when it's like, you know what, sometimes that is the case, but other times it's like, man, they really don't have an idea of the factors that go into things. And but that's just me. So
gotcha. So all right, so you're talking about your Impact when you were the Impact Grand Champion. That was back in 2016, and then you say you took a break for a moment. You decided to do acting.
Yeah.
How was that jump from the wrestling world into the acting world?
It was cool. Like it was something that I left wrestling. I jumped headfirst into the pool without even checking if there was any water in it.
Damn.
But you learn quick. It's like when you're wrestling, you learn how to fall down. You learn how to fall down the right way quick. Otherwise you'll be hurting. So I did that. And again, it was just kind of navigating Hollywood. And there's just been such a crazy, Hollywood experience I've had. And I'm just, I'm very, very fortunate to have the people I have in my corner. I've met some wonderful people out here, and I've gotten some opportunities. And, now that COVID is hopefully going to be a thing of the past.
Hopefully.
Yes. Things are starting to open up again, and I'm just kind of looking forward to exploring different opportunities and things like that, and kind of just get back to work. I was coming off a high when I started NWA. I just been in Hawaii for about a month.
Hawaii.
Filling an episode of Magnum PI, and then went right to Georgia for NWA, and I was like, okay, this is good. Got momentum again. I was kind of getting in the public eye again and everything, and then all of a sudden, boom, here came the Rona. But hopefully we're nearing the end. Light at the end of the tunnel, as I say.
Excuse me, Aaron. This is something I want to know as a fan of AEW. Is there any chance of you going in there and feuding with your former Rhodes Scholars partner?
I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. I don't know the ins and outs of AEW. I'm not going to pretend to. I have a couple friends that are there, but I don't know, again, any, I remember I texted Cody, congrats on his kid and everything like that, and never heard back from him. But I'm assuming, maybe there's heat there. I don't know if there is. I don't think there is, but maybe there's not. He's a busy man. He's got his stuff going on. So I don't know. You know what? There's so many different options, and the wrestling world is such an interesting place right now. but I am just truly happy in NWA. I mean, they've given me creative freedom, and
that's awesome.
Nothing beats that.
yeah, and with me.
May I ask though, is it creative freedom, and you do you own the character that you create with that organization as opposed to the other?
It's never like really been discussed. So I'm Aron Stevens, right?
Yeah.
I claim to be a 3rd degree black belt in Mongrovian karate. I was leave NWA and suddenly get a 4th degree black belt. Is that the same character? I mean, you know what I mean? There's such
I get it.
a different thing where with me, I think is if you create layers again, if we start putting more and more layers on, that would kind of be interesting to see. But like I've always prided myself in being the performer who's not married to a character.
Nice.
Either way, I'll find a way to get what I got to get done. That's always how I approach this. And that's kind of how I approach my acting too. Like whatever it is, just kind of find your little nuance, find what you do, and just go after it.
And you grew up in Worcester, Massachusetts?
I was born in Worcester. I mean, I came to the world there. But my family, we live in North Oxford, which is about, I'd say 10 miles south of it, which is a very small town. So it's a small town, big family, and
Hey, I was up in Blackstone up about 1.5 years ago, living over there in Blackstone.
Oh wow, yeah, Blackstone Valley, yeah.
Yep. It was good times. So good stuff there. And the reason I asked that because I know Worcester. Let me say it right.
Yeah.
You got to pronounce this right, folks. They'll murder you in mass if you don't say this right.
Yeah.
Worcester.
True that.
Worcester, and when I moved to Louisville, it was Louisville. So I started Worcester and Louisville. Yeah.
what accents we have to develop because of it's insane. So just because of your creative process, and you come up with characters and all, and this is I am a comic book podcaster. Do you have any background in comic books, or what was it that inspired you to be so creative in what you create, those characters that you create?
So to me, it was born out of necessity. There was never any, like when I was creating the intellectual savior character, I had these pink tights, and it was an FCW on a house show, and I was like, let me put the pink tights on and see how they work. Well, okay, the crowd reacted to it. Like, okay, the pink tights are better than the black tights with flames on them. Okay, cool. So you know what? Even though I paid more money for the black tights with flames, I thought they were cooler looking. In the wrestling world, I can say this: it's never about the performer; it's always about the fans. So you have these are your most important tools in wrestling and in acting too, for that matter. But I was always trying to get the wax out of my ears and listen to what the people are reacting to. Perform for them. And so the pink tights then led to, okay, well, this is something good. So I did a cartwheel. I acted like the genius, Lanny Poffo.
Oh my God, I remember him.
Yeah. And you know what, again, with him, what a brilliant character. Like, and I never thought he got the credit he deserved.
No, Ethan Lanny is an underrated person.
Underrated. I mean, number one, he was a high flyer and everything, but okay, you have the brother of Randy, but I think that's another thing. That was a behind the scenes, like Vince or whoever, oh, that's Randy's brother, he's just whatever, because Randy Savage was such a great character. But when Lanny went into the genius character, the heat that he got, I mean, let's just, again, if we're using our ears here, not only am I the smartest man in the world, which is a great gimmick, but I'm going to rhyme everything I say, which is insanely good. And, it can be annoying if used to insult a babyface. And then on top of that, when he would do the flips and just like he would act the way he would, my God, it was it was a layered character.
Yeah.
And
I loved it when he was teamed up with Mr. Perfect.
Oh my God, yeah. Yes,
that was some of my favorite parts of Lenny of all time, which is him with Mr. Perfect. And them doing all those vignettes. Yeah, classic stuff. That's when I was first really getting into, and even considering becoming a pro wrestler myself at that point.
Yeah.
And I thought that, no wrestling school will train a blind person.
Well, you know what? You never know, man. And there's always ways, and there's different jobs in the wrestling business, so you never say never.
Exactly.
You're doing a great podcast, you should be a commentator.
You know, there we are. So I'm Puerto Rican, man, and I see that you went to the WWC.
Right, so
and you were the Puerto Rican
from the
heavyweight
island?
champ.
Are you from the island?
I was born in East Isabela, yes, but then I'm
Oh,
I'm from another borough, of Puerto Rico, just called Brooklyn, New York. That's where I was raised.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, I lived right in Isla Verde. Yeah, man.
No way.
Oh, dude.
Small
The
world.
Dahlia. The Dahlia. We were right. There was the El San Juan Hotel and Casino to our right, if you're looking at the beach, and the Ritz-Carlton to the left. We were not the El San Juan Hotel and Casino or the Ritz-Carlton. I can assure you of that. But we were on the beach. It was fun. It was cool. And I tell you what, if heaven forbid I ever get convicted of a crime and have to face execution, if they say, what do you want for a last meal? There will be Chinese food with an exorbitant amount of crab rangoon and General's chicken. And there will be the best sandwich on the face of the earth, hands down, La Tripleta.
Oh, dude, I just had one like 2 weeks ago because I found a Puerto Rican food truck and I saw tripleta. Like, I have to have this.
Dude, with the potato sticks.
Yeah.
My God, just, yeah. Yep.
I mean, yes, it'll clog an artery, but damn, is it good.
It's amazing. It is amazing.
So that's awesome. How was that experience, though, from stateside to going to the Caribbean? Is there a difference?
Loved it. I remember going into a restaurant not getting served. And even though I was hungry, which I probably just went to get a tripleta afterwards, but I took that as a compliment because the chef recognized me. And number one, thank God he didn't decide to serve me and spit in my food. Number two, I incensed him so much that I was that much of a heel, which was amazing. And
you would just hate it.
We're getting back. I did the thing, pointing to my ears here, where I said that's the most important tools in wrestling. And that moment came in Puerto Rico where Carlos Colon, I was doing something with Glamour Boy Shane and Ray Gonzalez, where they had a match, and I think I ran in the ring, jumped him, and this was like at the main event of one of the bigger shows, right? So I was now the next in contention for the Puerto Rican heavyweight title.
Okay.
And did that, and it went very, very well. And Carlos, he was sitting there, I'll never forget, he had his plastic cup full of wine and his cigar. And he says, Idol, excellent job, my friend. Oh, I go, oh, thank you, boss. You see it? And he laughed at me. He's like, no. Which kind of at that point, Michael, like, what? He goes, no. He goes, I've been in this business 40 years on this island. He goes, I'm a wrestler. I'm prejudiced to good or bad wrestling. Right? You did something and I didn't like the way you attacked him, or I didn't, or I really liked the way you attacked him. If the people didn't buy it and I liked it, I'm prejudiced. If they did like it and I didn't like it, I'm prejudiced. All I do is listen. When I listen and they're doing that, I know that it was right. And that's when the light bulb kind of started to, flicker and go on. And it kind of followed me to FCW. And then, which again, going back to the pink tights, right? The robe was done simply to cover up the pink tights. That's all that was. That was Dusty's idea. He goes,
oh, wow.
Because this one genius from The Office, who's not there anymore, said, you're just too bland. And then I remember Dr. Tom, Steve Kern, and Dusty laughed at him.
Oh no.
Because he obviously wasn't watching the show. And so Dusty's like, all right, okay, we're gonna give him bland. Get a robe like Bob Backlund. Okay, fine. And then that just kind of led to one thing after another. And then it was just funny because I didn't hear the term intellectual savior of the masses until about 45 minutes before I made my debut. When Vince dropped it, I'm like, okay, I guess that's what we're doing. So
really, too funny.
Smart guy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was it. That was just kind of, we run with it. And, it's funny how things develop. So yeah, I've always been you take from different people, but essentially you kind of mix it, add a sprinkle of your own seasoning, and then do it your way. So that's
just
how I
throw your own sazon on that boy.
That's absolutely, yeah.
Awesome sauce.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I know we only have about 10 minutes left here with you. So I want to get to what's the next great thing that's coming up here. Let me show off the banner because you guys can't see it on the background, right? But we got this, and it doesn't want to cooperate. Technology. Come on now. No, it is. I just want to bring up the picture real quick because you have something on the pipeline that's actually debuting, later this month on the 15th with another awesome person, April Hunter, and the name of the program is The A Show.
Yep.
Woo!
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about The A Show, how you met April and how this all came about.
God, I've known April since like 98 or 99 at Kowalski's, where, I was a 16-year-old boy getting trained. And April,
were you trained by Killer for real?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Killer Kowalski trained. Wow.
Yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
legend.
16. That was an interesting. That was an interesting time. But so met April there. And we've known each other and like forever. And, we were never super tight. And then in wrestling, it's a weird thing, right? Like through attrition sometimes, just through like being in the business for as long as you have, you reconnect with people, and then considering the given landscape, and it's just whatever. So we became friendly, and we've all like just would check in. Hey, how you doing? How is everything? Blah, blah, blah. Then we were actually working on a project because through a mutual friend here in Malibu that knew her, me and this mutual friend had an idea for a show. April had graduated from Full Sail, which is not an easy thing to do.
Hey, my daughter goes to Full Sail.
That's awesome. That's cool.
I'm in Orlando right now. This is crazy.
Yeah, that's great. Wow. So like, hey, you have a writing degree. Do you want to try to write this? Let's take a stab at it. So and we still are working on it, which is kind of a really cool concept and everything. And then through us just talking and everything, like we had a really good banter. And then the way 2020 went with between the politics and all just the insanity, we tossed, we should have a podcast. Well, within about a week, like 3 people said, hey, you should do a podcast to her. 1 contacted her. And I had about 3 people say, hey, do a podcast, do this, you should really think about doing this. So we were like, okay, let's just see what the hell happens. And we had another mutual friend, Ben Hameen, through its Ben Hameen Media. We contacted him. He's like, all right, let's do this. Let's see what goes on. So it's going to be called The A Show. It's going to be on Patreon and Twitch. For more information, please follow. We have a Twitter account, which is brand new. So it's _A Show. And we're looking at February 15th. So, you cut out?
I said I have it as @_ the A Show.
Yes, _ the A Show. That's perfect. Okay. Did I say it wrong? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you said the _ I was like, no.
Oh, no. Sorry. Forgive me, and thank you, Al, for saving me on that. You've saved the show. It's so no, it's not. Let's try this again. @ the A Show. There we go. I just said it. Congratulations. We've hit a milestone.
Yeah, man. And what's awesome, again, is debuting February 15th, the day after Valentine's. So you have no excuse. You spent your money with your lady or vice versa, with your man, or you know what I mean?
I'm single and loving it right now.
Oh, you are, bro.
Oh, I tell you, right through quarantine, and April and I were having this discussion, and this is kind of the stuff you're going to hear on the show, where when quarantine started, family, this and that, which is great. And family's a wonderful thing. I value family. It's so important in my life. But to be quarantined with the same people that you're not always compatible with, the ones who quarantined alone, I am a much more sane person from now, now than I was, at the beginning of quarantine. And I have my sanity, and I'm very, very fortunate that I've quarantined alone. And it actually, I guess the divorce rates are going through the roof now, which is, of course,
because now it's like, this is who I really married. God damn it.
Yeah, which is sad, but hey, what are you going to do? But this is the kind of discussion you're going to hear on the A Show. So
gotcha. See, that's why the Comic Pimp is also a single man. He's just a pimp.
Yeah.
Like I said, after like 3 failed relationships, I was like, I quit. I'm just gonna have fun. Whatever happens, happens. And it makes the convention circuit a lot easier to manage.
Put it out there. Hey, you know what? And life is good either way, right? Either way, you're winning. So just like Charlie said.
All right. So we have about 5 minutes left. So what has been for you one of the biggest highlights of your career? The moment that sticks out most in your mind, like, wow, I can't believe that happened.
Money in the Bank was cool, but there was an event in Waco, Texas, that I was supposed to wrestle Miz, and I think we were opening the show up or something like that.
Okay.
Then Arn Anderson calls me over, and he, in Arn's way, who I absolutely think the world of Arn Anderson, and he's the best. Sandu, change of plans. The Dead Man has showed up. He wants to do a tag, him and Sheamus versus you and Wade. And it was like, well, okay. This is interesting. So Miz ended up, I forget who he ended up wrestling. And then, Wade, like, it was funny. Like, we're in the hall and I'm going to, say what's up to Taker. And Wade, like, looks at me. He's like, did you just talk to Arn? I went, yes. So, and that was a blast because the fans didn't know it. And it was Waco, Texas. So it was like not one of the bigger towns, but like, man, when that gong hit, they didn't believe it. Like, number one. And then when the second gong hit, the crowd just went. It was so cool. It was so much fun. That was like one of those bonuses there. But it's been cool, yeah. And then there's been some interesting moments out here in Hollywood, and it's been a really cool experience. From transitioning from wrestling to out here. So
what's the Hollywood highlight?
God, pretty much when I first moved here, I had kind of like declared myself a free agent again in terms of who I was working with, and then this lady was just like, "Are you in SAG?" No. So next thing I know, I'm on the set doing a movie with Jonathan Banks from Breaking Bad and stuff, which was kind of cool. That was weird. It's won a couple of awards and everything, and it's an interesting process, and I hope to be on here as a comic book movie actor someday. Like that's like my the Marvel Universe, DC. Like I would love to kind of play in that, especially like with my wrestling heel background. Like I love being the bad guy, and I think there's so many interesting.
I'm all about the bad guys, man. Yes. Tattoo, Decepticons, and
all about the heels, man.
Yes,
Cobra.
Come on, yeah. Way more fun. Yeah, way more fun. Mm-hmm.
So, in regards to that, do you know what villain you would like to play if you had an opportunity? Okay,
so the Punisher 2004, I believe, with Thomas James, was that?
Oh yeah,
is that correct? Yeah, love Travolta's character. Travolta is one of the most, I think, diverse actors. Like I put him, Hugh Jackman there. I would say Magneto, but there's, I've already gotten to play Magneto in WWE. With that's cool. But any comic book villain that has layers to it, like not the evil for the sake of evil, because I don't think that necessarily, especially in today's society, stands up. I think that when you can have say the original Sandow character, yes, he was a heel, and I would go Hannibal Lecter, but there was the pink, there was like the little nuances where you're like, the hell's wrong with this guy? But the comic book world has always catered towards that. And and another thing with we're talking about heels, which Cobra Kai season 3, and I know we're running out of time.
I love that show, bro.
My God, Martin Cove. Like, I was such a fan growing up of John Kreese, because I put him there like with one of the greatest cinema villains, cinema, TV, whatever, of all time.
Yep.
There's Darth Vader, who is the Sith Lord of the Galactic Empire. And then there is John Kreese, who is the evil suburban karate instructor who has high school kids beat the dog crap out of each other and is just training an army for the sake of that is who he is. And like, I always thought there was something charming about that. But then the backstory, how the military and how he grew up and his take on life. And, Martin Cove, brilliant actor, and the John Kreese character is one of my favorite characters ever.
Let me tell you, that show surprised the hell out of me when I said, okay, Cobra Kai, let's see, because I had seen Billy all over the place and in Massachusetts, because he was always pitching the show, talking, we're working on something. For years he was saying this, because I was masked for about 5 years.
Who's this?
Billy, the guy, I'm talking about.
Billy Zabka.
Yeah, Billy Zabka. He was pitching the show at conventions. So I would see him at a regular table, and people, oh man, it's Billy from Karate Kid, and he would say, yeah, we have something in the works. I never knew it was this.
Amazing, absolutely amazing.
So to see that rise from him, kind of like, yeah, I'm trying to make a comeback. Trying, bro, you Uber successful in that.
Man, nailed it. And I mean, culturally relevant, takes a stand that I agree with, you know, like where we have acceptance, we have inclusion, but there's a lot of people who overdo it and are soft to a degree. And you need to kind of find your inner strength and put it out there. And I just, the characters are so well done.
Yes.
So well done. And I'm so happy for all those guys. I mean, I never really, the only person I know on the show is Stingray, but you know, growing up as a huge fan of Karate Kid, like, man, what a great way to bring back a show and introduce it to a new generation.
Absolutely. And just so you know, make sure to check out the new Mr. Miyagi, More Than Miyagi documentary that was released on Apple TV today. Really good, and you get a lot of insight into Pat Morita, a lot of story. Man struggled a lot, but it's a great documentary. And obviously, you get the actors from Karate Kid, Cobra Kai in there, you know, speaking about Pat. Very good documentary.
Right on. Wow, thank you for that.
Absolutely. So, again, we started the show with my man Blind Adam asking a question. Adam, do you have any other questions for the amazing?
Actually, I just want to thank you for one of my favorite wrestling memories of all time, which was the Raw 1000.
Oh,
interrupting DX.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for that.
That's out of yours.
What's that?
That's the moment I became a fan of you as a character and as a wrestler.
Well, you know what? That means the world to me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. You know, DX is what was at that point I was all about DX, and to watch the entire reunion and you just interrupted and then take sweet chin music. I was like, oh, this is great. I've been a fan ever since.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
It sounds like you've had a blast, brother, doing your thing, and we wish you continued success and health. I can't wait to listen to the A Show on the 15th. Folks, you see it on the screen. And again, repeat to the fans, where can they see this only?
Okay, Patreon and Twitch. That's what we're going on. And if you want, follow us. This is February 15th for launch date, but follow us now on Twitter now I'm going to say this right. Ready? I'll even hold my my pen like @_ the A Show. I did it.
Wow. Yeah, folks, you did it. Now, this was amazing, Aaron. Again, thank you. I hope you and April kick ass on that show. I'm sure you guys will. You've been an awesome guest, man. I wish we had a lot more time because I would definitely love to pick your brain even more. And let's talk about our favorite tripleta or dobleta recipe, some sancocho, all that good stuff.
Yeah. Well, we'll do another show strictly for Puerto Rican cuisine.
Let's do that. Although you're going to probably, all right, I mean, I'm going to have to unbutton my top belt, but I'll be ready.
Awesome.
All right, with that.
To hear some Dusty Rhodes stories because Dusty was the man.
Yes, he was. I owe Dusty my career.
Man, there we go. Rest in peace to the amazing Dusty and a lot of people that you've worked with, you mentioned here. Absolute legends. And again, folks, please make sure tune in at ComicCrusaders.com, UndercoverCapes.com, and of course, you could subscribe to our YouTube channel below, all right? Comic Crusaders World, and it's just Comic Crusaders on Twitch, all right? So I got my man, Blind Adam, the one and only Aron Stevens, and I'm Al Mega. Huepa, para que tú sepas, hasta la próxima, mi gente. Much love.